Hi. The Peruvian internet is trying to ruin my day. I just went live for about 18 minutes and it didn't upload because my internet went out. So I'm going to try remember what I said. So if you're here live, which you're probably not because now it's a half an hour later, you could put a heart in the comments. And if you're watching this on the replay, if you could put hashtag replay in the comments, that would be great. So what did I say? Now I'm about to have a hot flash because I got so fired up about the internet. Anyway, being flexible, that's the key when you live in Peru for sure. So here I want to talk about hot flashes today. So I'm sure most of you, if you're in my group, know what hot flashes are, what they feel like. In other places, they call them hot flushes. I've heard them called hot blooms. A friend of mine calls them power surges, which I love. They're referred to as scientifically as vasomotor symptoms. So that's the constriction or dilation of blood vessels. But we all know them to feel like a sudden flush of heat to the face and neck, maybe your chest, maybe your arms, maybe you get sweaty. You can start to feel like you have a really rapid heartbeat. Maybe you get anxiety. Very uncomfortable, right? So, sweating, especially at night. For me, I get super hot at night. And then you get the fun thing of potentially feeling super chilled. So feeling chilled is on the downward end of after the hot flash, then chilled. So scientifically, they're not actually known what exactly causes the hot flash. Hi, Laura. What they think is happening is that decreased estrogen is causing your hypothalamus, which is the part of the brain that affects appetite, sleep, sex hormones, and is referred to as the body's thermostat. So what they think happens is that the decreased estrogen makes the hypothalamus, this part of your brain, become more sensitive to just like slight temperatures. So normally, you go outside, you're super hot, your body will respond to that heat so that you don't overheat by causing you to sweat, your pores are open, you actually get more hot at first because your body is letting that heat off. So what they think it happens is that it's more sensitive, so it's actually causing you to feel that heat when you're not so hot. So your body thinks it's too warm. The chain of events start to happen to cool your body down. This is where the getting too cold comes in. So your body is like, I'm so hot. All of the heat in your body starts to just come off like you're a steaming pot, right? And then you're too cold because really the original temperature that you had was a stable temperature. You weren't too hot. And so this little trick of your brain, you actually feel cold sometimes. So, and then maybe cold sweat. So especially if you're sweating even at night, that's when I feel the most uncomfortable. Nice to have a stack of pajama shirts next to my bed. That's my new technique. So anyway, these are the things, this is the physical mechanisms of what's happening. Triggers, which I think I've talked about before. I think I wrote it in a post, or maybe my last live. Things like alcohol are a trigger, especially red wine. For me, whiskey, maybe that's just because what I drink, but that seems to make me not even a hot flash, but just like a consistent level of heat over the whole night, honestly. But red wine specifically for a lot of women. Spicy foods, because spicy food, if you've ever eaten like really hot food, you start to sweat, right? You start to feel like I'm hot right from this spice. So if you are already like on the edge of feeling a hot flash, you need something spicy, it can like really trigger that. Caffeine can be a trigger, unfortunately, specifically coffee. Smoking can worsen hot flashes if you're a smoker. Of course, if it's hot out, that can be like, because your body temperature really is hot. And so then just that extra little bit of, again, your hypothalamus sort of saying like, wow, you're really hot if you're actually hot. And that's why heat and also exertion. So, if you climb a flight of stairs really fast, you get a hot flash on the top because your body actually is hot. Some people say chocolate, but I refuse to subscribe to that idea because you can take my red wine and my whiskey and my caffeine, but you cannot take my chocolate. So you decide on that. And another is stress. So stress affects everything, as I'm sure everyone listening knows. But if you're already so if you're worked up, and maybe when you're worked up, you get anxiety, or when you're worked up, you get rapid heartbeat, or, if I'm really mad, sometimes I just get hot. And so just that extra little bit of being like kind of in an exaggerated state, you're just putting yourself closer to the level where your body is going to be like, oh, hot flash. So that's good to know. And so just to talk a little bit about nighttime hot flashes, because now some people say the night sweats or hot at night is different from an actual hot flash. Like me personally, I get just really hot kind of more the whole night. It's not specifically a flash necessarily, but just elevated heat. So that could possibly just be something different. But if you are experiencing hot flashes at night, they are really not enjoyable because then you're not sleeping. So for me, I'm extra pissed off if I actually wake up. If I'm hot during the day, I can deal with it. But hot at night, because I need 9 hours of sleep, always, 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 or I'm like a toddler. So something that I've found to help specifically nighttime heat or hot flashes is having a nice routine. And this will help even if you don't have hot flashes, because having a nighttime routine, no matter where you're at in your life, is just nice because you'll sleep better, and we all are better people, I think, when we sleep personally. So, and for me, I can't take a hot shower really close to bedtime, because then I just stay hot all night if I don't get the chance to cool off, because I like to take an absurdly hot shower basically because I live in Peru and we don't have heat. And so if I'm cold at night, I'm like, I want to take a hot shower, and then I'm just very sorry all night. So taking a shower maybe a little bit before bed, or not taking a shower super hot can be nice and relaxing. Anything, whatever you personally like to do for relaxation. What's good for anyone is not looking at the TV or your phone before you go to bed. And because of the lights, really, and whatever information you're looking at can kind of trigger not being able to sleep very well. Giving yourself a nice foot massage is super relaxing. And just having downtime, so like really making your bedtime, the whole situation around your bedtime, a routine. Maybe you read a book, listen to some relaxing music, maybe some meditations. I like yoga nidra, which is referred to as yogic sleep, or sleep meditations. My favorite is Michael Seeley, just to really relax your body. So the more relaxed you are, the more easily you're going to sleep and potentially not have as many hot flashes. So, and then also just keeping your room really dark and really cool, because if your bedroom temperature winds up being too hot, that's going to, again, bring you to the hotter temperature, and more likely you're going to have some hot flashes. So, and just now I'd like to talk just like about a couple of potential solutions. So black cohosh is an herb that has been known for years to reduce symptoms of menopause, specifically hot flashes. The hard thing about scientific research is that, scientists will take one chemical out of a plant and conduct various studies clinically and be like, nope, it doesn't work. But if women have been using black cohosh for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, I don't know, for this type of thing, for me, that sort of research is more valid. If thousands and thousands of women are like, that works, then that's good for me. Another plant that is amazing is called Vitex. Now, Vitex sounds like it's some sort of chemical component, right? But it's called Vitex agnus castus. It's a plant that you use the little berry. And this is an amazing plant. It's strong, but it's amazing. And so it can help girls just starting with their periods, women in PMS. It helps with fertility, and it helps during menopause. So basically it's like regulating your hormones, making them more stable. So all of those things are helped. It's a favorite of mine. Another thing is that I've heard have helped are B and D vitamins. Basically, not that it directly affects your hormones or anything, but honestly, any sort of symptoms of anything are going to be helped if your body is in a good, healthy, stable condition. So if you're deficient in some vitamins, that can sort of trigger symptoms of menopause because your body isn't stable. So, nothing is separate. None of our hormones are separate. None of our organs are separate, so basically trying to get yourself as stable and balanced in your health as possible can also help with menopausal symptoms. And then liver support is something that's so important. I had an herb teacher, David Hoffman, in my school, and he would say every patient or client is a liver patient first, because our liver processes everything, right? So, especially hormones. So if everyone's liver was working perfectly, all of our organs and our systems would work better. So especially specifically with our reproductive system or any sort of hormonal system, if the liver is processing everything properly, your digestion will work better and your whole reproductive system will work better, because if things are sort of stagnant in your liver, the messages are getting all kind of interwoven again. So things like bitter herbs, digestive bitters is one of my favorite things. If anyone has any questions about digestive bitters, I make so many of them. I love them so much, which helps with digestion, PMS, all sorts of things, right? So, and then just things like bitter salad greens, like kind of the Italian mix of salad, dandelion, radicchio, that type of stuff, mustards, that is very helpful for your liver. And then acupuncture. If anyone who knows me, I am an herbalist, so I'm not against Western medicine by any means, but I tend to first go toward Eastern medicine, so Chinese medicine, Ayurveda. And acupuncture is so helpful in every way, I think. And so basically, it's needles, of course, it's acupuncture, very tiny, tiny needles. But what it does is that it not only helps your own immune system to cure itself, but it also just regulates every part of your body. So it's not like, oh, my neck hurts, although that does work. But for your greater system as a whole, it just sort of it removes the blockages and allows everything to flow properly. And so I found great relief for any issues about anything with acupuncture, but specifically hormonally and for menopause. And then the last thing I'll talk about is just sort of the lifestyle and mindset shifts, which is really kind of what I want to share with you ladies overall in this group, because the rest of these things, you can find on Google and you can ask around. But what I would really like for all of us is to work on sort of the lifestyle and mindset. So in addition to like exercise, of course, which helps with sleep, helps with really anything, and keeping a healthy body weight, those just help keeping you healthy as a whole, right? But talking specifically about things moving towards stress relief, right? So deep breathing and meditation to help sleep, but also during a hot flash specifically, right? So instead of being like if you get a hot flash, right, it's uncomfortable. Maybe you're at your office and you hate it, right? So maybe it's embarrassing if you start to get sweaty. But just thinking okay, I'm getting really hot, and maybe I just take a break for a minute, take a few deep breaths, and know that, they don't really last that long. Maybe sometimes it feels like it's forever because you're so damn hot, right? But if you just can take a moment to think about, if you just take a couple of deep breaths, this will pass. You'll get a little hot, you'll get a little sweaty. Maybe you need to after go in the bathroom, wash your face, like if you're at work or something. But just kind of taking control of your own body and your own situation. You know, like maybe you can't stop it in that moment, but you can kind of calm yourself, especially if you tend toward rapid heartbeat or anxiety during a hot flash, is just really be like ready to take a deep breath when that happens. And no, of course, that doesn't last forever. And then I'm a big proponent of meditation for anything, but with this, with hot flashes and with menopause, I think keeping a general state of calm to start with, like before you get the hot flashes, when it's not happening, right? So if you are in a more calm state overall, then I feel like anything that comes up is less stressful, right? So you're like, okay, woo, shit, like I'm about to have a hot flash, but you're used to kind of being in a more calm state. I feel like that's when you're able to take it as it comes and be hot for a minute and kind of not like it. But then you're like, oof, okay, well, that's over, right? So I'm a proponent of meditation for anything. And then, yeah, like I said, the friend of mine that used to call it power surges. I mean, I thought it was hysterical when she said it, but honestly, just thinking like, ooh, like I'm strong, I'm powerful, like I'm getting so hot. Like it was like she would kind of treat it almost like a joke. I'm like, look how hot I'm getting. Like, I must be getting a lot of wisdom, you know? And I mean, of course, this won't work for everyone. It has to be kind of whatever your attitude toward life is. Although I feel like anyone can change their attitude. And, you know, just knowing that people have survived all sorts of things. And honestly, hot flashes are not the end of the world. So if you can just kind of maybe take it with a little lighter attitude, and I know that's easier said than done, but, you know, just keeping a calm about yourself and then realizing that this isn't permanent. It's just a change. And, you know, taking care of yourself is the best route. So hopefully I said all the things I wanted to say, because like I said, my internet did not upload the thing. So hopefully this time will work. So thank you to those of you who have watched, and I'll see you all next time. And please feel free to write any questions or comments in the post, anything you feel like will be helpful that has helped you, or any questions you had about what I have to say. So thanks, ladies.